Let's do it. All right, Marvel Rivals Season 1 tier list, okay? A lot of differing opinions out there. In hindsight, that balance patch did not do a whole lot. I actually think... I'm not sure. Again, I'm very nervous about sustaining this game. Today's video is brought to you guys by Snacksy, which is an app available on Android that lets you get rewards for playing mobile games, whether you be playing like in the bathroom. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I always play in the bathroom. I'm just on my toilet playing Raid Shadow Legends. I'm not gonna lie about that. That's just what I do. But if you play any one of these mobile games, you can collect rewards while playing. You get things like gift cards from PayPal, Visa, Amazon, Target, Apple, eBay. Go down the list. You know, games like, you know, in Roblox, Fortnite, Xbox, PlayStation Network games, Steam, food and beverages like Starbucks, McDonald's, other Starbucks for all the white girls out there. We know you guys be drinking the pumpkin spice lattes. But yeah, no, you can get a ton of different rewards from, you know, just playing games via the Snacksy app. And yeah, if you guys want to support the channel, support them as well, and just kind of get rewards while you play mobile games, you know, this is definitely a good place to do that. So check it out. Everything you need will be down in the description. A big shout out to them for sponsoring today's video. And without waiting any longer, let's get into the action today. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. These brand deals are how we pay for our editors and really get content out. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. See you later. Let's get into the video. Let's go piece by piece here. Start out with Loki. I mean, I don't think Loki's S tier, but I think he's A tier for sure. I think Loki's a really solid pick. Again, his like the main reason is his ult is so flexible, and his shift, his like, you know, his trickster little pulls, whatever, that turn damage into healing are so good against dive, and a lot of dive characters got buffed. Loki is very good against dive in a lot of situations, and the ability to just copy your powerful support ult and double support ult, especially when it's Luna Snow, is insane, because Luna Snow ult is just unbeatable. So like Luna Snow Loki comps are really, really good. Even if you're just copying a Mantis, that's still helpful. So yeah, Loki, I think is A tier. He's got a solid kit. He can put out a ton of stats. He's got a lot of utility, teleportation, invisibility. He can be a nuisance. You're even seeing some Lokis actually like be a third support and flank and put down their clones to do DPS. So Loki, like, hey, don't sleep on Loki. If you're a strategist player and you're struggling against dive, Loki's your guy. Like, Loki is one. Like, I think Loki's still better than Cloak and Dagger. I think Cloak and Dagger are still overrated, unfortunately, because they're some of my favorite characters to play. All right, Mantis. I mean, she got some nerfs, but I still think she's really good. I mean, she only really got a movement speed nerf. Her ult is still insane. There are a couple more ults that can kill through it now that people are learning. But this character, like, she just does so much, man. She's great at damage. She's great at damage boosting and enabling. She's got good mobility when it comes to her passive speed that did get nerfed. Like, she can get out of, she can, like, move quickly in and out of stuff. She's got her CC, which can be kind of hard to hit, but it also has more range than you might think, too. So I still think Mantis is an S tier. I don't think her nerfs really did anything to her. She had, like, the highest win rate in the game last season. You know, she is, she's incredible, and it's no real surprise on that front. All right, Rocket Raccoon, man. Got some buffs, 10 more health per second on his healing. Okay, listen. So, I don't think there's a support in this game that's below A tier. I think every strategist is just incredible. Rocket, let me tell you where Rocket Raccoon is good. Rocket Raccoon is very good when there's group mirrors, right? When there's group mirrors, why is Rocket good? Because then when somebody on your team goes Punisher, and then you have that team up, and he enables Punisher, got the res, good healing. Like, I don't think Rocket is exceptional, but I don't think he's mid either. Like, I think the supports in the game all do so much that it's, I can't willingly rate them.
Jeff Kaplan. How's it going?
Right?
I'm Jeff.
It takes 70 months.
Almost 6 years, still waiting on my 5-year sub badge.
Yeah, so Tig, we're going to get some new badges and emotes to celebrate Marvel Rivals here very, very soon. But yeah, so look, I think Rocket, to be clear, is low A tier. I would honestly give him more of a B+, A- than I would an A+. So A- Rocket Raccoon. Man, Cloak and Dagger. Okay, hold on a second. Big buffs, right? But the problem with Cloak, and Dagger is that it's when you get in a deficit, right? When you get in a healing deficit, you just can't, unless you perfectly use your bubble and your team stays in it, you can't overcome that deficit unless you have a power healer on your team like a Luna Snow. So it's like, it's hard for me. I think my initial, I kind of got gaslit in my season 0 tier list where everybody was like, Cloak and Dagger are so good. And I was like, eh. And it turns out they were complete donkey shit, unfortunately. I'm still pretty unsure on Cloak and Dagger. I think Cloak and Dagger and Rocket Raccoon are both A-. I mean, getting that extra thing on the ult is helpful, but I feel like Cloak struggles in the mid-fight so much compared to like a Luna Snow or a Mantis or even a Loki. Like, they just don't, like, you listen, you can get value. I'm not saying you can't, but like your team has to play in your bubble. Like, you have to, like, there's way more things that have to go right for you to get your max value on Cloak and Dagger than if you're on Luna or Mantis or, you know, even Loki or, you know, I can go down the list of supports. But yeah, I think I'll give them A tier, but that's, you know, a low A tier at the best. Low A tier at the best. Luna, I mean, this is not going to surprise anybody. I mean, there were not impactful nerfs to either Luna Snow or Mantis, which is alarming, to be honest. Here's why this scares me. The Marvel Rivals has done something different that is good, but different, and there's different problems that come because of it, right? Potentially. So they have found a way to make people want to queue strategists and support in the hero shooter genre more than in other games. They just have, whether it be through the character's appeal, something I want to talk about. You know, I gave Overwatch a lot of shit for leaning into like the Gooner stuff, but I think I was wrong. I think I was wrong to do that because clearly it works, right? Clearly, very, very clearly it works. So, you know, I'll have to give my hats off to Blizzard for that one. I think I was incorrect. But, you know, people are playing these characters, and a part of the reason why is because they're so good. I think Luna Snow was made by the executive producer, and they've got a soft spot for her. It is incredible that her ult did not receive a meaningful nerf in any way, shape, or form. Like, if they want to leave it as long as it is, it should probably heal a little bit less, right? It should probably not make an entire team unkillable, but make them really, really, really strong. She's just OP as fuck. You know, she's insane. Like, you know, the ult lasts 12 seconds. The Snowflake heals a ton. She's got CC. She's got long range healing. She's got comparable damage. You know, I think the game kind of, like, you know, she's the most banned support in high level play easily, even in season 0. She's been the best support overall, I would say, alongside Mantis. I think my prediction was that Mantis was better because Mantis can do more damage, and in ranked that's the case. But, you know, I still think Luna is just absolutely unreal. I'm kind of surprised. I would like to see her get tuned. Like if her ult is going to last 12 seconds, I would like for there to be a way to focus fire through it. Like, just a possibility, you know? So maybe reduce the healing a little bit. But if she becomes too bad, then you can reduce the amount of time it takes to get to the ult or something. I don't know. Or just add more options into the ult like they did
Jeff
Moon Knight.
Kaplan. How's it going? I'm Jeff.
Yo, MK Substance, thanks to sub, bro. Welcome to locker room. So yeah, Luna Snow's still S tier. Like, she's an insane character. She's not going anywhere anytime soon. And, you know, I'm a bit nervous that they're not willing to, like, tweak that ult a little bit. But, you know, hey, new game, right? As long as they're adding more things to pierce it, we'll see. And we'll talk about, I don't think Susan Storm is on this tier list or Mr. Fantastic. So I guess I'll do those now because I'm looking at this. I don't see them anywhere. So, okay. Susan Storm, Invisible Woman. I think she's A tier. I think she's A tier. I honestly think they missed a pretty good opportunity with her ult. I wish they had done, instead of just having another support ult that's just like Giga's healing stats, heal, right? I think it'd be cool if they reduce the amount of healing by half, but any enemy that's in the ult also receives 50% less healing. I think that I'm worried that all these support ults are just all about sustain, and that's just, you know, it's not fun to play against. But Sue is very good in neutral. She's a great disruptor. She's great against dive characters in terms of disrupting them a lot like Loki. She and Loki play similar roles. I just wish that ult, like, you know, you can make it a bit bigger and reduce the amount of healing just so the neutral fight matters. Like, so, like, kills can happen without ult dumping into each other. Especially with how fast ults build in this game. I think it'd be cool to open up the mid-fight dynamic a little bit more. Maybe that's just me, but like all of these support ults are just like Transcendence from Overwatch, or just like, hey, live, everybody is going to live no matter what button. And, you know, I'd like to see that change a little bit. I think they've gotten so many characters with cool identities that, you know, can express themselves, but nobody, like, there's a Goldilocks zone when playing these games. Things either die too fast or they don't die at all, right? And you saw this in Overwatch 2 a lot of the time, where, like, you know, Season 2 of Overwatch 2, everything was getting one shot, the game was miserable, right? And then, like, Season 8 came around, or Season 7, and then nothing was dying because the supports were so strong, and that was also miserable. There's, like, a Goldilocks zone that you want to hit, and this game is undoubtedly leaning much more towards nothing ever dies, right? So I would like to see a little bit of regression to the mean and away from sustain, because sustain has just been insanely powerful in this game since the second the alpha came out. But that's just me. So yeah, Sue Storm, I would say, is A tier for sure. Now Mr. Fantastic is D tier, dude, or C tier. Like, you know, he just doesn't, like, he's good at sustaining in a brawl, and like the way he will get played is on that Hydra map, the Koth map, where somebody figures out how to cleave perfectly with him. Like, I was playing him on that map when my team was getting gapped, and I did go positive. But he's a lot like Iron Fist in that if your team sucks, like, you're not doing anything, and situational. So I think they can make his ult a little bit better or more flexible, because it doesn't do that much damage compared to other big ults in the game. So if it doesn't do as much damage, you can let it be more consistent. But not only is it hard to use, but it doesn't have that much impact. So I think it's a really cool ult. I think they can buff him. Like, Mr. Fantastic should get some buffs to some parts of his kit, in my opinion. So yeah, he can't do anything versus the sustain in the game, which makes him automatically a bad pick. You'll notice the DPS heroes that are going to be high ranked are going to be the ones that can actually do something against sustain, because the support abilities are the end all be all right now. Adam, I still think Adam is just insane, man. He's got one of the best team up anchors in the game, with letting Mantis and Star-Lord, two very solid picks, be able to self-res themselves. Mass res, really good, but actually kind of balanced. It's crazy. You know, when you look at mass res, you think Overwatch 1, oh, this is broken. There's no way they can make this work. And then it doesn't feel that oppressive because everybody spawns in at 1 HP. Like, I was playing Bucky yesterday in quick play, and I 15k'd on an Adam Warlock res, or like 10k'd. It was crazy. And it's like, yo, like, there's, like, unlike old Mercy res where everybody's full health with all their goddamn abilities, like, hey, wait, they actually implemented this in a way where it's not oppressive, which is crazy.
Thanks, love. Mindflex clans clips. Thank Foolington. Just want to support you real quick, Samito dad. Stream your server every day.
Hey, all the Mindplex crew appreciates your support, buddy. Thank you so much. We'll have some more to talk about on our Q&A. We have a fireside Q&A for Mindplex going on next week. So hopefully we can finally start answering some questions, which will be good. Okay, let's see here. Also, the Clans trailer is sick. It's been done for like 2 or 3 months. It's freaking awesome. So more on that soon too, for full release, that is. All right, Jeff the Shark. I mean, I think Jeff's the worst support in the game. Like, the problem with Jeff is that there's, like, sustain is so essential in this game. The only time I see Jeff getting play is on triple support comps, because it's not worth it to sacrifice a defensive ult when they're this powerful in the game. Like, sustain ults are just so much better that, like, Jeff is great as, like, a third support DPS hybrid, right? Because his ult can be good if you don't have to give up a sustain ult. And if you run that third support with Jeff and they're all stacked on a Luna Snow ult, you can eat them, pull everybody off the Luna Snow ult, and go kill those people, right? And, like, essentially mitigate the Luna ult. But essentially you're sacrificing now a DPS for that. And can Jeff fill the DPS role better, right? Probably not. Like, can you get value on Jeff? Sure, but, you know, he had a low win rate. The buffs don't really matter or change his win con, because ultimately Jeff is competing for the same spot as Mantis or Luna Snow or Adam or Loki or Rocket or Cloak. Like, I would say Jeff and Cloak are about the same. You know, it's just like he's just an inferior version of those characters. You can play him, but I think he plays best as, like, a third support DPS hybrid that can, you know, honestly, I think triple support, one tank, double DPS Jeff would be, like, the best kind of comp, where Jeff fills as, like, that third support, you know, triple DPS-esque comp. But, like, even then, I still think he's going to struggle to compete with this. He's just not this. He's just not this. Jeff is just not him. He's just not him. He's cute. He's all over my Instagram reels. You know, Jeff the Land Shark comics are, like, all that come up on my feed. But, you know, it's just not them. And it's not like his ult. Listen, don't make no mistake. His ult can wipe. I'm not saying his ult can't wipe, but it doesn't wipe as consistently as the support ults save. And consistency is everything in this game. So yeah, like if you Luna Snow ult, like 9 times out of 10 your team's living. If you Jeff the Shark ult, 5 times out of 10 you're getting meaningful kills. So you know it is what it is there. Hulk, I still think Hulk is S tier. His team up anchor is just that good. His sustain is that good. Still one of the most banned characters, high level play. I mean, the nerfs were good to him. I actually think the tuning to Hulk was accurate, and I think that they should try to accurately tune other characters to the way they did Hulk. CD is definitely S. That's just Cap. Caparoonie. But yeah, I think Hulk's still S tier. I'm gonna say the same for Strange, despite his nerfs. Like I still think Strange is super versatile. He just does so much. Like, I think the nerfs to him were good. I actually would not change Strange any more than what they did. I just think he's, like, what he brings to the table, especially with his team up this season, is just enormous. It's just enormous. Great ult. Maybe I put him in A tier, actually. I'm not sure about this one quite yet. I actually think Mag might be better. I'll put Strange in A tier here. A plus for Strange. Not quite S tier, but like still very, very, very solid. So, Strange, really, really good. I'll give him an A plus. Nah, I'm putting him higher. I'm just putting him higher. He's still S minus. Okay, Cap. I think Cap's like solid. I don't know, man. I just don't think people have figured out Captain America yet. Like, I think, like, Cap can solo tank pretty well if he knows how to live. I think Cap is a very misunderstood character. You can draw a lot of aggression. His ult is really good. I think as time goes on, people are going to get better and better as this character. Like, having a support ult on a tank is very good. Support ults are just the best thing in this game. So, the fact that Cap has one as a tank, he's all about his uptime. He can enable his team. He's definitely not S tier. He's like A minus. I would say Cap and Rocket are like A minus to me. Cap's only good because he doesn't die. Yeah, pretty much. The problem with Cap is not Cap, it's the player base. That's a hot take. You can quote me on that. The problem with Cap is not Cap, it's the player base. Because the player base don't understand the value of living across 99% of the ranks. And I will say there are better ways to get direct value than Captain America. So he is definitely not like a top tier tank, like top tier hero in the game, but I think he's top half. Like, he's solid. When players actually learn how to play Captain America, he doesn't die. I'm telling you he doesn't die. It's not Cap. You guys all suck. I love you, but you all suck. Like, if you can't get value on Cap, that is a personal issue. Capo is better rally. It's good. It's good. He's not like, listen, make no mistake, Captain America is not a top tier tank. He's not. He's just not. But he is more valuable than people think he is, for sure. Groot, I'm going to say, is A tier as well. Higher A tier, though. I think Cap is lower than Groot, to be clear. I'm thinking about putting Cap in B tier, to be honest, but we'll see. Groot is really, really good on the right comps. His setup, again, he's one of the few things that can allow you to kill through support ults. I think Groot, when people play triple support, I think Groot is a super strong pick because the triple support don't have enough damage to kill his walls like a Punisher. And if they run triple support with a Punisher, you probably can still kill the Punisher with a lot of other DPS in the game because his hitbox is so big. Not to mention, Groot Moon Knight, who we're going to get to later, was one of the best combos in the game, and it just got even better. It's one of the few combos in the game that beats this right here. It actually beats it beats every support ult combo. Moon Knight ult beats every support ult in the game, and when it's with Groot, it's almost guaranteed. So, I'm telling you guys, 100%, man, 100%. Don't sleep on the Groot, dude. Don't sleep on the Groot. I think Groot is a very solid pick. His ult is unbelievable against triple support comps, which is very, very strong right now. You see it a lot. So, as well, walk into a Sue Storm ult. I am Groot. The moon haunts you. Boom. Everything's dead. It's great. Okay. Venom. Look. I've started to see some more Venom. He's hard to play in a triple support, but I think good Venoms get value. I think Venom's a solid pick. I think Venom and Cap are both like A minus to me. I don't think Dive's very good right now. just because sustain is so good. But I would say both Venom and Cap are like high B, low A. They can, again, like those shield buffs and his ult buffs like helped him a lot. It made him much more solid and much more of a contender when it comes to getting final blows. I think Venom struggled to get final blows, and like he needed some help there for sure. And so the fact that he can do a little bit better of a job of doing that now, I think goes a long way. So I think Venom and Cap are both low A tier. All right. Magneto, fear Magneto. This dude, listen, this dude in the comics is a menace as well. Like, this dude is powerful, and man, did they nail the power of Magneto in this game. Look, if anybody who's read Marvel comics or seen some of the stuff like Magneto did, like this dude in the Ultimate Verse created a tsunami that wiped out New York. He created a tsunami that wiped out New York by flipping the poles magnetism. This dude is a problem, okay? He is a problem. He is a threat in the Marvelverse, and man, is he a threat this season too. I'm telling you, he is an absolute beast. I think Magneto is the best tank in the game. I think he's the best tank in the game for a couple reasons. He's super flexible. He's great at solo. He can solo tank. He's got answers to things like Wolverine that Hero Strange has no answers to Wolverine. Groot has no answers to Wolverine. He at least has his bubble. Right, he's got his bubble, he's got knockback, he's got a shield, he's got an ult that can counter big DPS ults like Star-Lord ult, Iron Man ult, all that shit, and that ult then turns into lethality. This guy's the most flexible tank in the game. He's super, super strong, great damage, great at angling, beast. Magneto is an absolute beast in this game, and he's been a beast in the game since the alpha. All around best tank in the game. No doubt in my mind, Magneto's the best tank in the game. Great team up too with Scarlet Witch, who fell off a ton, so you haven't seen it a lot, but in the beta it was broken. So hey, listen. And it does counter support ults. You can kill through support ults. This guy is an absolute beast at every level. Shout out Magneto. Fear him or suffer the consequences in your SR. Magneto's a beast. Thor is, I think Thor is A tier as well. Like his buffs helped him a lot. He was already really close to being good. He does feel really clunky, but man, once you figure this guy out, he's strong. He's really strong. Just situational. Really loses to poke and struggles against poke. But with some poke nerfs and sustain being better, meaning you're going to see less pokey comps, I guess, if sustain is as good. Like, if people are running triple support comps with a lot of sustain, they lose a lot of their frontline damage. And what happens if they lose their frontline damage? It means Thor gets way more space, and it's way easier for Thor to get into what? The Brawl, which is his entire kit. And not to mention, his ult can kill through the Mantis ults out there. It can kill through the C&D ults. It can kill through a lot of things. Not to mention, Thor is the team-up anchor, I believe, to Storm, who got big buffs, okay? So if you see a Thor, you know, his team-up got significantly better. So did Captain America. So you might, like, again, I think indirectly and directly, Thor received numerous buffs on this patch. I think he's a solid pick. Very solid. Definitely not top tier, in my opinion, just because it's so easy to damage him on, like easy damage heroes can just crush him, making him more difficult to play than, like, a Magneto. Because if you make a mistake on Thor, you just die. If you make a mistake on Mag, you have abilities to bail you out. You don't have that on Thor. So it's easier to make mistakes on Thor, but I still think he's very, very good. His ult got way better too. Peni. I think Penny's B tier. Like, she's just niche. She's good. Don't give like Peni can get value. Peni can absolutely get value. She does the best against flankers, right? But like she doesn't do anything against triple support. She doesn't do anything against triple support. Like, let me make no mistake here. You can absolutely play Peni to the highest rank in the game. You can. Well, maybe not Eternity. Maybe not like one above all. But you can absolutely play Peni to a very, very high level. The problem is these Peni players will try to force her into a comp that she's not good into, and it just makes it impossible. And if they have players on their team that can like full counter you with like good range damage and different stuff like that, and you haven't banned the right characters, oh man, you're in for a bad game. You are in for a bad game. She's just, you know, she's like, her ult really like doesn't, like Mag ult, like this is the best example I would give. Magneto ult covers one of the weaknesses of his base kit, which is range damage. Penny's doesn't, right? Like say, like Mag loses on angles to range DPS. So say there's a Hela and she's like poking, then she ults. Okay, well you Mag ult, she loses a lot of her ult, and then you turn that into damage. Star-Lord is the best example, where Star-Lord ult can wipe your team. Magneto has no tools to stop Star-Lord that's on a high off angle from the range. But if you have Mag ult, fear Magneto, boom. No ult for the Star-Lord, and you can get a kill from it. It's like reverse card. Peni can't do that. Her ult does more of what she's good at already. And she doesn't, like, if she wants to be a top tier pick, she doesn't need to be better at what she already does. She needs to be better at what her weaknesses are against poke damage. But I don't think she should be designed that way. I like her design the way that she is. I think she's fine. I don't think Peni Parker should be a top tier pick in the game. And she's not. She's mid. You know, it's okay. Punisher. Okay. I think Punisher's A tier. Like, his ult does so much damage. With Rocket getting buffs, it's going to help him too. If Groot ends up being solid, he's very good into Groot. He's very good into Venom. He's very good into Thor. He struggles against these two, and he's harder against Hulk. But no, I think Punisher is still a solid pick. You can play him from the ground to the top. Ult does insane damage. This guy's all about his damage output. When you need raw damage, this is your guy. Like, in just, you know, an entry-level character, the Punisher is the guy. His shotgun's really good. All right, Storm. I think Storm was the most underrated character in the game. Everyone thought she was horrible, but people forget. People who played the alpha remember how good Storm was. Storm was really good in the alpha. And these buffs, these are the biggest buffs we've seen to a character since the alpha. She is insane. She is absolutely insane. I don't think she's S tier, but she's damn close, right? Couple reasons. Her range now, her mid-range is really good. Her projectile speed went from 100 meters a second to 150 meters a second. I'm not sure the fall off is there. When it comes to duels at like 30, 40 meters, she actually is a contender now. You can hit your shots. You have a chance to hit those shots. Her team up with Thor, who also got buffs, is really, really good, and they buffed it from a 20-second cooldown to a 15-second cooldown. It's chain lightning. Okay, so if you damage amp, you're going to get some good damage on that, which does what? Builds her ult, which was already good, and now it got buffed even more. The tornado can pull you in, and now Storm gets more shields in it, and she keeps the shields out of the ult, giving you time to escape. It's a guaranteed force on one of the sustain ults in the game. So you can actually force the sustain ult really, really early before the fight starts, because how this works is, like, you need, if they're running big sustain, you need to force the sustain ults before they get onto point, because they get onto point with all of their ults, they're going to out-sustain you every time, because they'll use Luna ult, then they'll use Mantis ult, then their Loki will copy their Luna, or their Atom will res, or they'll do some shit, their Cloak and Dagger ult, and, like, you just, if you're not running triple support back, you will never be able to out-sustain that. So you need to do something that forces the ults really, really early. And Storm does that. She can force the ults before the fight starts and get out safely. Then when all the other support ults are happening, she can use her lightning while everybody's clumped up in a brawl. And every enemy in her range of the lightning, when it's amped for 8 seconds, can get struck by lightning, letting her do a shitload of damage, which means what? She's going to farm her ult before the other supports farm their ult, because the one downside of triple support comps is that while there is a lot of healing, because all 3 of those supports are competing for their ults instead of 2 by healing everybody, there's a good chance that you can actually get your Storm ult before that next cycle of their support ults comes up, if you're doing a lot of damage. So, yeah, I think Storm is A tier. She's not quite S tier because she dies really easy, but man, she can deadlift games now. She can absolutely deadlift games. Those Storm buffs were enormous. I actually think some of them might get reverted, though we'll have to wait and see. Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye is one of the most overrated DPS in the game. Just because of his potential lethality, I'm only going to put him in A tier. I think the Hawkeye nerfs did much more than the Hela nerfs did. He's just countered by barriers, and he's way more diveable than Hela is, and he's less versatile. And with the projectile shot, he's less consistent. I think he's still strong, but Hawkeye is way easier to counter than people think. And he can go unbanned a lot of the time and really, not get that much value. Like, Hawkeye is actually vulnerable to dive, and with dive becoming much better, like, he can just get bulldozed and he doesn't have, like, hard CC to stop it, but he's still solid. And his ult is, like, all right. It's very difficult to set up his ult at times. I still think he's a good pick just because, again, like, a hero that has that much potential lethality is hard to rank low. But, I think that he's still a solid pick. Hawkeye is. Hela, I mean, these nerfs did nothing to her, man. These nerfs, the Hela nerfs did, like, nothing. Literally nothing. She's still an insane pick. She's tuned down a little bit Her mid-fight is crazy. The hit scan is crazy. The burst damage is crazy. Mobility, good ult, and living her ult. Just crazy character. Crazy character. Still, I think the best DPS in the game. Why isn't Cloak S tier? Cloak, is it Cloak and Dagger or not S tier? Cloak and Dagger are not S tier. They're not S tier. Just because everybody is picking the quote, I'm not even kidding. This is what people are saying. Just because everybody wants to pick the Snow Buddy comp doesn't mean it's good. Every single game I'm playing is Sue Storm and Cloak and Dagger. And it's like, dude, what are you all doing? Like, stop. You cannot enable DPS on angles. You cannot, like, because they can't enable, like, it's, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. Okay, but yeah, Hela, S tier character for sure. She's still super good. Panther got hit with some nerfs. I think he's about the same, to be honest with you. I don't think the Panther nerfs did that much. I'll put Panther in A tier. Again, he's got so much, like, potential lethality. I think Panther is just slightly worse than he was last season. I think he's better than B tier, for sure. But I don't think he's better than, like, he's definitely not S tier. He's like A minus, B plus on the Black Panther, at least in ranked. I think in pro play, he's not going to be that great. Why is there no Mr. Fantastic here? I don't know, but I already said that he was like C tier at best, and Sue Storm is A or S tier. Okay, Magic, still A tier for sure. Okay, dude, having my game open is lagging me so bad. We're closing that. Okay, look at how less laggy we're gonna be. It's crazy. Yeah, Magic is A tier for sure, man. I think Magic, she was already like, she's very good in her niches. Like, Magic is like a harder hero to play. Her win rates were really good. I think she got buffed as well. Magic is crazy. And especially if you get like a Psylocke on the team or something like that too, or a Panther that can like use her team up and they aren't countering you. No, like, listen, Cloak and Dagger had the lowest win rate in the game. The 3 seconds on bubble, it doesn't matter that much. Like, ultimately, like, the bubble was already good in the situations where it's good, but like it's much harder to play around a Cloak and Dagger than it is to play around a Mantis or a Luna. That's just the reality of it. Like, Cloak and Dagger, they're just not Mantis and Luna. They're not. They're not. I don't care how hot you guys think Cloak is or Dagger is, whatever. I don't care. You know, it's just true. It's just true. I'm sorry. But, yeah, and then, yeah, Magic is just super, super solid across the board. Great character, very niche skill set, but, like, man, when you master it, you can absolutely fry all the way up to the top. And she was pretty good in the beta as well. Moon Knight, okay. Moon Knight is getting upgraded from B tier to A tier. Here's why. He sucks in the dive. Let me be crystal clear. He sucks in isolated duels. He sucks, okay? He is one of the worst DPS in the game at, like, dueling one-on-one. Okay? He's horrible at it. He will lose most of the time. He does not have the damage. The Ankh is easy to break. He will lose almost every 1v1 to Hela, almost every 1v1 to Storm, almost every 1v1 to Hawkeye, almost every 1v1 to Panther, almost every 1v1 to Magic. This dude, when it comes to dueling DPS, is ass. He is absolute shit. Horrible. However, into triple support comps and Cleavy tank comps that are running 2-2-2 with a Groot, he is God tier with Groot and against Groot, because Groot's his best enabler, and if they run a Groot on their team, you're constantly going to be cleaving. He's also very good into Loki. So if they're running like Sue Storm, Luna Snow, and like Loki, for example, or Cloak and Dagger, like, your ult kills through Sue Storm ult. It also can get kills through Cloak and Dagger ult and Luna Snow ult. So the ult getting buffs actually is one of the few win cons in the game against the strongest characters in the game. So when they're playing that triple support comp and they lose a DPS hero, which is what Moon Knight's weak into, the supports can't pressure him and kill him as well as DPS can. So because of that, with those comps becoming better and Sustain becoming better, Adam and S, Boger put him in D, but Adam Warlock is not D tier. He is not D tier. I can promise you that. I think Adam is insane, primarily with what? Triple support comps, right? Primarily with triple support comps, and when you get Mantis Star-Lord, just because of that team up, Adam is S for me. Adam's so good. Adam's team up is so good for two of the better characters in the game, which is why I put him there. And his damage is actually pretty good as well. So yeah, I mean, Moon Knight is going to go up to A tier for me. I mean, his win rate was awful in Season 0. He's one of the most fun characters to play, but when it comes to dueling, he's one of the worst one-on-one duelists in the game. That's not what his kit is designed to be. It's designed to be big cleave against those sustained comps as well. So, yeah, okay. This is not ordered, no. Squirrel Girl, I think is still just B tier. Like, her ult's better, but it only has 300 health, so you can kill it. She's good at trapping and good against flankers, but I just don't find that to be, like, one of the best in the game. I think, listen, you can play Squirrel Girl to the highest rank in the game. You can, 100%. Most players just aren't going to be able to do it, and most players would just immediately get better value on another character. She's fun, though. She's fun, and listen, she can be good. It's just harder to be good on Squirrel Girl, and it's harder to be as consistent on Squirrel Girl as it is any of these other DPS in the game. And again, like, consistency is the most important thing in this genre. So, Black Widow, B tier, I think. Again, I think people were underrating Widow. Like, she's where she probably should be. She's going to be better at sustaining in the fight. Her ult is going to be better, helping her lethality a little bit more. They should not buff Widow anymore. Any lobby with Black Widow in it, the game becomes way more boring and way less fun for everybody else. So I think they need to keep her where she is right now. Black Widow should always be one of the bottom half DPS in this game. Squirrel Girl is very good into like things like Wolverine because she can trap them. Like if they're playing Wolverine, if they're playing Iron Fist, if they're playing Black Panther, if they're playing Venom, Squirrel Girl becomes immediately way better because her trap is really good. You can double trap somebody by using your cooldowns. She's very good against dive. So yeah, I would not put Black Widow any higher than that. Iron Man, I think, is A tier. He's, again, solid. His ult is good. I feel like I don't have to explain this. If you got a Hulk on your team, then he's insane. Like, you know, that team up's one of the best team ups in the game. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. I think Iron Man, I'm not going to put him in S tier because without Hulk, I don't think he's S tier. But, you know, he can survive on his own. Hela's banned a lot. Storm makes it more competitive, but I still think that Black Widow and Squirrel Girl on the same rank is insane. Guys, like, you all have to remember this. Like, I actually play good players on Widow. Of course, in, like, Silver, the Widow players are all going to be donkey shit. That's no surprise. But when you're playing in Silver, what you have to accept is that there's not a single soul in that rank that is capable of getting real value, the true value out of any character in the game. Like you haven't played against Cody on Widow. You have not played against the top level Widow players that actually, one, can hit shots, and two, have the brain power to actually position well and use their sustain cooldowns properly. There aren't many people in that game. The difference is I actually play the people who do, and they do get value. I'm calling all of you, Silver, who think Widow is unplayable. Like, she's very difficult to play, but she is, maybe in the mass populace, she's bad, but she's not that bad at high-level play. I'm telling you. She's like these people have found ways to get value on the character. Why do you have tiers if you're not putting anything in it? What a stupid tier list. I mean, why would I just arbitrarily rank something in the absolute lowest tier if I don't think they're that bad? Maybe the issue is not my tier list, but maybe it's your brain. Who could have thunk? Right, who could have thunk? Spidey, horrible. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Just can't do anything. Like, insanely difficult to play. Speaking of, why do you have the whole tier list and you don't put anybody in the rank? Well, maybe if you didn't have the fucking patience of a kindergartner and were patient, you would figure some shit out. So don't create those tiers. You know what, buddy? How about you go make a tier list instead and fuck off? How about that? Fuck off. Get out of here, donkey. Anyway, yeah, Spider-Man is horrible. He just, like, ever since the big supports got 275, like, he kind of lost his combo. Venom being better might help him in some situations, but he's super hard to play. Like, it's just easier to get direct value on other characters. I think he's one of the worst heroes in the game, for sure, across all ranks. Across all ranks. Because not only is he demanding, but he doesn't get that much value. So, yeah, all right. Scarlet Witch, I mean, she got some buffs. Okay. On her own, she's C tier, in my opinion. I don't think her buffs are competitive enough to her, like, to actually let her play. I'm not. However, if the team up that she has got buffed enough with Magneto, I would bump her up to B tier. If this is good, if this team up is very solid, she could go up to B tier, even A tier, if she enables Magneto in an enormous way. But on her own, I think she's just C tier, as she probably should be. As she probably should be. Is Spider-Man a better assassin than Iron Fist? No. No. I don't think so. Squirrel Girl is going to be good. Listen, I don't think Squirrel Girl is bad, to be clear. I don't think Squirrel Girl is bad, but she's just not better at what she needs to be doing this patch to get value, because the supports are so good. If Dive was really good, I think she'd be better. But yes, I'm putting Witch in C tier for now. We'll see. All right, Bucky. I think Bucky is really overrated. I think he's B tier. Again, doesn't consistently kill through the Giga Sustain comps. Like, his pull can be good, but, like, he's so squishy. And so what they tried to do is they tried to make him tankier. But for most players, they're just going to be bad on him. I think he's all right. I think Bucky is solid. I don't think he's great. Like, good Bucky players can get value, but I think there's just better, like, I think there's better characters to play than Bucky if you want to get value. Like, I'm sure in some of your all's games where supports can't play the game, I'd probably put him in, like, A tier. But the problem is people die on him so much, and it's just like his ult, like, if they simply have a support ult, it's so much easier to just use that support ult than it is to get a kill on Bucky. He's A. You guys can say he's A all you want. Guess how many Bucky players I've seen in top 500? What are we cooking here? We're cooking a tier list at a rank where people are getting the true value out of characters. I would say in the lower ranks, he's A tier. But the higher up you get, the harder it is to play him because people actually respect him. The main thing he's good for is, like, hooking a tank in and, like, knocking them in. Kind of like a budget Wolverine. Like, guys, I'm sorry. There's been, like, 2 Bucky players. He's not that good. And you don't believe me? Check this out. You don't believe me? Let's see. 47.97% win rate. Bottom half. Let's see. How do you do in the top ranks? 45% win rate in GM, boys. I mean, that's, let's see. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7th worst in the game out of all these characters. He drops off hard. I'm telling you. He had one of the worst win rates in the game last season in GM plus. So, like, listen, that's why I'm putting him in B tier. I don't think that changes. He doesn't have the survivability against good players with what? What's the best in the game sustain? So I'm sure in your all's ranks, like, he could be A tier because people don't use abilities properly, and that gives him way more windows to actually create kills. But I'm telling you, the higher up you go, the more he falls off. I'm telling you. For that exact reason, I cannot put him up here with all the other characters that have good survivability. And by the way, Moon Knight would be down here as well. The only reason Moon Knight got up to here is because of the triple support comps that his ult can kill through. Bucky ult doesn't kill through that. Yeah, Samito, people only remember again, not when he gets no value. Exactly. Because the moments in your head where you just get farmed by a Bucky make you think that he's way better than he is. And everybody fell for this. And the win rates back that up. And how he plays backs it up. I cannot rank a hero up here with a lot of these other characters when they fall off that hard at high level play. I can't do it. Star-Lord, I mean, at least A tier. Honestly, I want to put Star-Lord in S tier, to be honest with you. I honestly want to put Star-Lord in S tier for comp. I think Star-Lord is one of the best DPS in the game, especially for ranked. He's so good. He's so fucking good. Star-Lord is just insane. And honestly, I think he's a more flexible Iron Man. I do. I think Star-Lord is the most flexible DPS pick in the game. Because he's got good mobility, good damage, and such a lethal ult, I am going to put him in S tier. You can play him with anything. As long as Hela is banned. You can play Star-Lord in any comp, and it doesn't matter what your team is doing. Like, you still have some semblance of your playstyle. If your backline sucks, you can hard flank. If you need to peel your backline, you can survive against dive. You can survive and fly away from all the flankers. You're one of the better duelists in the game. Your ult has insane lethality. You can force support ults, or if they misuse them, you can kill through. Like, he does everything, and he's got one of the best team ups in the game from Adam Warlock. So if your team's running like Adam, Mantis, Star-Lord, one other support, like Star-Lord goes crazy. I think he's the most flexible DPS in the game. You can play him in the most comps for a DPS character. And because of that, I just got to give it to him. And he has iframes. He has invincibility frames. He can survive. He can dodge Strange ult. He can dodge Iron Man ult. He can dodge Magneto. Like, he can do anything. He can do anything. So, yeah, I think Star-Lord, because of his flexibility as well as potential lethality, I just think he's so good. All right. Namor got some buffs. Man, Namor, super good. A+ character. Unbelievable damage and ult that can kill through support ults. Can combo a group. Like, Namor, I think, is a slightly better Moon Knight. Namor is a Moon Knight that lacks the big cleave damage into the group comps, but can fill the same role against flankers. He's so good. And they buffed his team up. Namor is insane, man. Namor, he's so good. He's just so powerful. Like, one of the highest damage dealers in the game. Doesn't get banned a lot because he's not as obnoxious as a lot of the other characters. So he's able to be a consistent pick. I think he's so good. Like, definitely, Namor is one of the highest ranked A tier characters, and in the hunt for S tier, just not quite there in my opinion. Psylocke, I think, was really overrated in the end. I think people started to learn how to play against her ult. Mossop, thanks for the gifted, man. I appreciate it. I think Psylocke is definitely a strong A tier. Again, insane lethality, very flexible, great ult, great mobility, just does a lot, but difficult to play at the same time. She's really, really good. She's great into Iron Man, actually, believe it or not. Like, you can actually poke out an Iron Man a lot if he's on his own. And yeah, she can force support ults well too. And if they misuse, she can kill through. So I think Psylocke, I don't think there's a lot to explain there. I think she's just a very, very solid DPS hero. Very, very solid. Wolvie. Logang. I can't rank him lower than A tier. He's super strong. Super solid, especially with his buffs. I mean, I was kind of surprised that he got buffed. You know, if you're low gang, you're eating well this season. You gatekeep a lot of tank comps. I think Wolverine might be one of the main reasons that triple tank, triple support is gatekept right now. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't have to explain that. If you don't get it, then go watch Team Captain. That's all I got to say on that one. Okay, here's an interesting one. Okay, so in season 0. I was one of the highest ranked Iron Fist players. I think he was like, I think.
Thanks, love.
I know Reed and Sue is on the tier list, but where would they be? I already explained earlier. I'll recap at the end. Reed is C tier and Sue is A tier. But I think the only people who played Iron Fist to top 100 global were me and Shazam. I don't know if anybody else. There might have been like 1 or 2 other people. I don't know if Chasm solo queued. I solo queued mine. So like I played Iron Fist to top 100, one above all, solo queue. Okay. I think Iron Fist is one of the most misunderstood characters in the game. So he ended up having the 3rd highest win rate in GM Plus at 54%, but he had one of the lowest pick rates in the game. I think he's better into triple support than people think because he can consistently force the cooldowns. He's not game breaking. He's either A tier or B tier. And I'm not sure where to put him. I'm going to give him an A-. I'm going to give him an A-. Like, if you have a team that is neutral or winning, you can dominate. If you have a team that's losing outright, you will lose 100% of the time. you will lose 100% of the time. You will not, if your team is getting gapped in sustain and getting gapped, maybe not on the front line, but particularly on sustain, they're just losing, you cannot do enough to win the fight. You just can't. You can't. His team up with Luna is good. You do give her that extra ability, which is really good. But he's actually at his best when Luna Snow is banned. And I think as well, with Sue Storm, like with triple support comps being good, it's just better to play the Moon Knight. When they don't play triple support, he's very good. But also at the same time, like I've actually gotten a lot of value on Iron Fist against triple support. To be honest, I have. But that value depends on if my team is good enough to get value on their own. Because I will go force everything out of them. I will force every ability, every ult. I will force so fucking much out of these guys. And if my team is able to capitalize on that, you can dominate. If they don't, it's like, it's worthless. So it really depends on who's on your team. I'm going to give Iron Fist A-, B+. I mean, we say that it's not necessarily gambling though, because like I just farm. Like there are times where I just take over the game as Iron Fist. Like, I will take over the game. I will just take over the game. I will put a fucking beat down on your team, and it is what it is. I do think he's A- though. I do. Don't shoot his block and he's done for it. The problem is everybody shoots the block. Triple support is becoming much better, yeah. So like we'll see. I think Iron Fist is like A-, B+. Probably closer to B+. So I'm gonna put him in B+. But make no mistake, you can play this motherfucker to the top of the ladder. You absolutely can. But I think because most people suck donkey doo-doo, that I'm going to put him in B+. So this is a B+. Okay. So reminder, Reed Richards is in C tier, and Sue Storm is in A tier. This is my Season 1 tier list for now. It could change. It could change. I don't know, man. I still don't feel right putting Iron Fist in B tier. I don't. I look at the other characters in B tier, and I'm not going to put him there. He's A tier. I have to put him in A tier. His win rate, like, he's not B tier. I'm changing him to A tier. I think he's A tier. But yeah, all right. That's my Season 1 tier list. Let me know what you agreed with, what you didn't. I don't think any character is D tier, Giga unplayable. I think C tier is as low as they go. No, Jeff is not S tier. Okay. All right. Nice. Cool.